Can you hear the music?
Yeah, it's audible.
I did a few tunes, which I actually ended up sending to Ram Sampath.
Right.
And I actually got a call from there saying that
Okay.
he's ready to meet you and speak to you about what you could do there. The only thing that's in your hands is to improve your skills. There was a point where I said, enough of these small snippets of tunes. Let me make a full song. I feel the like one person can have different passions and passions keep changing over time. For me, there are just too many aspects of life that I enjoy so much that one is not greater than the other. Mridangam actually helped me a lot in singing in different languages. One second. So this is my setup. Now it's extremely simple to get yourself a basic recording setup. Yeah, I mean, this is just as as something to kickstart your recording journey. तुमसे ही है तुम हो तो सब है सही.
Welcome everyone, welcome. Glad to see all of you here and a lot of our viewers who do not know about Srround. I just thought I'll just quickly give you a gist of what is Srround about. I'm Aditya Rajagopalan, the founder of Srround, and Srround basically is a platform which has been curated for connecting the sound and music industry, professionals, performing artists, sound engineers, teachers, you name them, and we are aiming to get them all on one single platform where connecting with each other virtually becomes a possibility. In fact, with this idea, when we created Srround.com, we did not know of what the situation was to unfold, and to our advantage, probably the lockdown came in, and that's where we could actually utilize our concept to the fullest. And we're glad that we could help a lot of industry professionals who reached out to us at that point. I would say we could walk the talk of what we said. We said we are creating a platform which is for collaboration and enabling enabling industry connects, enabling crossing geographical boundaries, and that is where the lockdown made us do that. And we could actually show people how collaboration is done, and we got to work on projects which was like studios looking for voiceover artists, teaching institutions looking for teachers. We've done end-to-end productions from composers to videographers. They've all engaged with us, and this is just the beginning for us, and I'm very thankful to see how things have been unfolding in this endeavor. In fact, we were of the opinion that everyone's virtual today, and what is it that we can do on our social media platforms, be it our Instagram handle or our Facebook page. And when we conceptualized these live sessions, we were very clear that when we engage with our audiences on any platform, we're going to give something which is a takeaway for them. It's not going to be something which is just come and perform and go. That's also important, but there should be a takeaway at the end of every session. So we said, let's connect with experts, or let's connect with people who've been there, done that. This industry, the music industry or the sound industry, performing artists, it's a very different journey that they walk, and this is something where we want to bring these journeys to people, where it might resonate with many people's way that they're approaching their own career in the music field, if I would say. So I think without taking too long, let me quickly bring in our expert or our guest for today. Very happy to have a fantastic singer, a composer, someone whose journey I'm quite aware of from the time he started off, and a very dear friend. We've got Rajiv Sundaresan with us. Uh, Let me just quickly invite him into the live session.
Hey Rajiv,
Hey Aditya, good to be
how are
here.
you? Same.
Absolutely
I
fine.
mean, it's I think our pleasure to have you. I mean, it's too formal to tell you this, I think, but it's really great to
I
have
don't
someone
think
like
we've
you
ever
kickstart
spoken
this.
this way, right? I don't think we've
Absolutely
ever
not. I
spoken
think
this way.
definitely not. And this is an interesting video call, I would say.
I know. We'll see what unfolds towards the end.
Absolutely. And I think, Rajiv, it would be most apt that you are kicking this session off for us, and, these live sessions where uh, we are very, clear that we want to bring something as a useful takeaway for our viewers and our listeners.
Okay.
And yeah, so the pressure's on you now. So,
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
so yeah, and it's I think I know from, of course, I know the background that the classical background, the roots that you come from,
Right.
and today where you are as a singer, composer.
Hmm.
I would also say a home studio owner, and
Oh,
definitely, it's something we would like to hear from you. So over to you. I would love to, let us all learn from you as what's the path you walked so far, and it's all yours. Let me keep quiet for some time.
firstly, thank you so much for inviting me as the esteemed first guest on Srround's page. And I'm quite kicked to be doing this actually, especially on a platform like yours, because I know that uh, Srround caters to musicians, and I'm really happy to be doing this with you, someone I've
Thank you,
known
thank you.
since how long now? 20, 30 years
I
maybe?
don't, I
How
don't
old are
know.
you?
That's probably yeah, I think, but yeah, it's 25 years plus at least we've been knowing each
I'm
other.
sure. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Um, so where do I begin? So as far as music is concerned, I think I was born into a musical background. Mother being a Carnatic classical singer, sister also immediately started learning from her. So my earliest memories are of, you know, growing up just in a Carnatic music world, so to
Lovely.
speak. We were actually in Oman for the first 5 years of my life, and uh, as surprisingly so, I mean, there were so many great Carnatic artists who used to visit Oman
Mm-hmm.
at that
Mm-hmm.
time. So my sister and I have been witness to some incredible concerts right from birth. So
Right.
my parents would take us for all of them. It used to be like a regular outing for us.
Right.
So that's how uh, I just was exposed to music since
Right.
birth. And for the longest time, I don't think I was ever the kinds who wanted to learn anything formally. I was a little more playful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I couldn't sit in one place for too long, 30 seconds
Okay.
max, I guess. So, so I wasn't the kinds who would, who learned anything formally uh, from anyone, any teacher, like a guru or anything like that initially. But I was always around when my mom used to teach uh, Carnatic classical music to her students there in
Right.
Oman itself.
Right.
So there was a small group, and so I guess I just absorbed a lot at that stage, and um, it all stayed in. I mean, I guess when you're a child, you're like a sponge, right? I mean, it all gets saved in a long-term memory, I guess.
Right.
So so that's how it started. And I don't think it was
Right.
until much later that even the thought of, taking up music professionally even came. Like it was always
Mm-hmm.
a very academic based approach. Uh, Father also being uh, from a CA background, being a gold
Mm-hmm.
medalist and all that. It was very uh, normal for us also. I mean, you would know in a typical South
Right.
Indian family how it is. So
Right.
you
Yes.
you uh, you live an academic oriented
Absolutely.
focused life initially, and but musically speaking, I was always interested in rhythm more than
Mm.
singing or playing any other instrument. Rhythm was something
Right.
that always excited me. I think all
Right.
of us as kids have been uh, playing on tables and stools and things
Correct.
like that. So that was
Correct.
always something I did. And it was only after, I think around, I was at the age of 10
Mm-hmm.
um when we moved to Mumbai. Like I think my dad got transferred many times till my sixth grade. I think I must have changed 7 schools. So we
Wow.
were always shifting from place to place. And finally, in 1992, we moved to Mumbai, and that's when we were in Mumbai for an extended period of time.
Mm-hmm.
So by that time, I think it was at Goregaon Ram Mandir. There was
Okay.
a there was a concert, and Vijay Natesan, as we
Okay.
all know, uh, our our wonderful guru's uh,
Absolutely.
first batch of students. So Vijay was playing the mridangam. Vijay was a 10-year-old as well at that time, and I
Right.
was simply awestruck
I
by the
think
way he
he's
played
he's lived he's lived to that phrase ever since, probably.
ever since, right? So I mean, I was floored by that, and I said, "That's it." Like that, I think that was it, like the point where I
Right.
felt that I wanted to learn, actually go and learn something.
Right. Right.
So then we found out who Vijay's guru was, and then the rest is
That's
history. I mean, I don't,
right.
I can't say enough how much uh, our guru Nandakumar sir has guided us through
Absolutely.
those years. So,
Absolutely.
I started learning the mridangam at the age of 10, and
Mm-hmm.
progressed steadily. I mean, I think
Right.
through school, my schooling life was pretty normal. I mean,
Right.
I think mridangam was the only uh, uh, thing I was learning with respect to music.
Right.
I did that
I
for a
think it's
while.
I think a lot of our viewers wouldn't know that Rajiv is actually a fantastic mridangist. He's also got one right behind him in the frame, so you can see
Oh yeah,
one there, right up there. So yeah,
I got that
that's
thing specially made to hoist it up there.
it's really interesting.
It should. I mean, I wish I would bring it down more than I do right now, but yeah,
I think
but
it's too fancy a stand to bring down now. So
yeah, but yeah. So coming back, I think it was only after I actually finished my schooling, and then I got into my diploma in electronic engineering, and after that I went on to do my degree in electronics and telecommunication in Pune.
Mhm.
So it was only after that that I actually even thought that music could be an option for
Right.
me to take up as a career. In fact, I
Mhm.
think uh, I think when I was doing my diploma in electronic engineering, there
Uh-huh.
was a 6 month period where we had to do an industrial training. So generally,
Okay.
students go and work for a company for 6 months, get some
Right.
experience and come.
Right.
So I actually um, tried working at a recording studio at that time.
Okay. Okay.
So Vivek Rajagopal, as we all know, the
Right.
incredible mridangam player and
Absolutely.
music producer, uh, he actually, I think he was very instrumental in um, me getting to
Hmm.
see these places, or getting to
Right.
explore uh, the music from a professional side.
Right.
So I visited a few studios. There was a studio in Santa Cruz that I went to, and I met the sound engineer there, and I was thinking if I could, maybe do my internship there instead of working in a company. So I think towards that stage of my life, I think I was about 19, roughly
Hmm.
19, is when I felt like music was something I was drawn to, and more than just a hobby. Like I felt
Hmm.
like that would be something that would interest me to take up full time.
Right.
And so that's how I didn't end up doing that internship, but after my engineering is when I was absolutely sure that
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to take up music, and I didn't. So while everyone was taking their GRE, GMAT, and all those exams, uh, I I don't know, for convenience sake, or I don't know what, I just didn't do any of that.
I
So
think
I
that
had
would have
no
been a big
choice.
task, right? I mean,
Yeah, it would. So so after that, I did an audio engineering course from SAE Chennai, which was a
okay.
1 year course,
Mm-hmm.
and that is when the complete shift happened. When I was
Okay.
looking at music purely from a professional point of view,
Mm-hmm.
and had to take those steps to sort of bring me in line with music as a profession. So that's when
Okay.
that whole shift happened.
But tell me, Rajiv, I mean, I know very well of the, as I said, the Carnatic route that you spoke about,
Right.
and being a, a traditional South Indian family,
Right.
moving in. I mean, this is what happened, but I'm sure that happening would have been quite a story which resonates with so many people who would probably be doing this. And that point where you decide that I'm going to become a musician and I'm going
Hmm.
to make music my career, it's quite
Yeah.
a big decision, right? I mean, for people who are looking at a steady career in a corporate sector and things like that.
True. True.
So talk us through
Hmm.
that, your thought process, how you actually decided that, and
So, like I said, when I was finishing my diploma in electronics, that's when I decided I actually wanted to do an audio engineering course at that time itself, which is when my dad was very firm. He said, "You get your degree first. After that, you figure out whatever you want to do."
whatever you want.
Yeah. So, but the beauty about it is, I did my engineering, and those years actually helped me so much because I was part of almost every music competition, anything to do with music. I was music head of college during my last year. So,
Uh-huh.
and there were so many competitions. I mean, Pune is great that way. Like, student life is fantastic,
Mhm.
and you're exposed to a lot of music there. So actually, that though one might think that, अरे engineering करके क्या उखाड़ा? You should have not done it at that time, considering you're a full-time musician now. But those 3 years, they help you in so many different ways. Like your
Right.
personality changes, your approach towards life changes. You learn so many other things. I mean, it doesn't need to be focused towards one thing also. You learn so many life skills. You live
Hmm.
alone, you're living a hostelite's life. You learn so many other skills, all these
Correct.
intangibles, uh,
Right.
that there are no regrets at all. After I finished my engineering,
Hmm.
um, I was completely sure that I wanted to give this a shot. And
Hmm.
uh, and hats off to my parents for uh, following through on that promise they had given three years before.
Right.
That they actually were okay with me taking that chance.
Hmm.
I came back to Mumbai after the sound engineering course, and Vivek again, he helped me meet a lot of people at that time,
Right.
which was very important.
Hmm.
It's like when you leave your home and you come to another city. Of course, I was familiar with Mumbai because I lived here through my schooling life. But
Right.
when you come and live in a city like Mumbai alone, it is intimidating to begin with. And
Hmm.
when your career itself is a question mark and you're staring
Right.
at a lot of question marks,
Right.
it can intimidate you. So having
Hmm.
someone like Vivek to just guide me through at that point
Hmm.
was very important.
Right.
And I can't say it enough. So
Right.
that phase uh, was interesting
Absolutely.
because you yourself are not sure about where you're going. So
Correct.
having that was a big help.
Yeah, I think it's difficult, right? I mean, because you don't have a clear step, the next step, what to be taken, and it's
Right.
quite an unknown route to be taken, and you just have to make your own route, right? I mean, it's literally there's no path. Right? I think
True.
many singers would be grappling with the kind of same situation, right? I mean, okay, what
Yeah,
next? I've decided to become a singer. Now what next? Where do I go from here?
very
And
true.
and they end up taking up, maybe bands, or they. I mean, that's a great avenue for a lot of things to do. But where is it? How does one actually shape this thought that when it comes? I understood you said, you had Vivek probably to help you take that first step. Is
Right.
it is there another way in these many years you would have probably seen these, that yeah, this was a
Hmm.
better route as well, or maybe this was another route that could have
Okay.
helped me reach this destination.
So I never look back and think what if. There are no
Hmm.
what ifs. What's
Okay.
happened is happened, and I always believe all for the best as well. So
Okay.
whatever you've gone through, that's the best it could have been, and there's no looking back.
Okay.
So that is one thing that I've always followed.
Okay.
And so there were a few things which happened at that time. So after my sound engineering course, uh, I think we all know the fantastic composer producer Ram Sampath, who was
Mm-hmm.
doing a lot of amazing advertisement work, jingles for
Right.
ads at that time in Mumbai. So in our sound engineering college, there was a notice saying a leading composer in Mumbai is looking for somebody to assist him. So
Uh-huh.
send in your work. So
Okay.
then, so that's where actually, uh, if you think about it, I knew I wanted to get into music, but I didn't know what in music, because
Mm-hmm.
it's not like I was a trained singer.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I was ever trained was the mridangam,
Correct.
and I was not a trained singer. I'm not a trained pianist or a guitar player or any of that. So so even that was a question mark at that time, actually, if you think about it.
Mm.
But
Right.
doing the sound engineering course helped me get a basic recording studio setup at
Mm-hmm.
that time itself. So it
Okay.
was I mean, as soon as I did the course, I realized that I need a basic computer, a keyboard, and a mic and a sound card just to be able to record something.
Okay.
So that was the first thing I invested in,
Mm-hmm.
which helped me learn a few softwares and make some very bad tunes, if you think about it right now. I made some, uh, I don't know. I mean, you should hear it. I'll make you hear it one day. but but I did a few tunes, which I actually ended up sending to Ram Sampath,
Okay.
and it was a little classical based, because that was my influence at that time.
Right.
And as luck would have it, uh, I actually got a call from there saying that
Okay.
he's ready to uh, meet you and
Okay.
speak to you about what you could do there.
Wow.
So that was great, because I just come back. I just come to Bombay. I
Right.
was wondering whether I should be a sound engineer or maybe try my hand at singing.
Mm-hmm.
And here is Ram Sampath, who's called me for an interview. So,
Absolutely.
so just before that, I had done one or two singing recording sessions as well. So,
Okay.
which I absolutely had a blast doing. Okay.
Okay.
So, in my limited capacity, I was really thrilled that whatever I sang actually aired on TV. And
Wow.
like I would wait for that ad to come and listen to it again and again. And it was a different high altogether. So when Ram Sampath actually called me and said he was looking for an assistant who could do a bit of recording, sound engineering work, as well as little programming work, and maybe sing once in a while,
Okay.
it it was a it was a great opportunity. But having done those singing sessions, I actually took a decision of sticking to singing only at that time and turned down the job offer.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I,
That was
I mean,
something at the start of the career to do that.
it's a little bizarre. I mean, now even talking about it, I'm feeling what was I thinking? Uh, but the coolest part about it is Ram Sampath said, if you are sure about uh, what your thoughts are, go
Hmm.
for it, man. Like,
Right.
go for it and stick by it, and good luck to you.
Okay.
Just those words also help you, at that time when you
Right, right,
yourself
right.
are so
Absolutely.
unsure. So
Correct.
I came back thinking, have I made the biggest blunder of my life, or
Hmm.
is this just going to be great?
Yeah.
I mean, as luck would have it, uh, almost like 6 months later, Ram Sampath called me to sing a jingle for him.
Okay.
And till date, I mean, at that point, that was one of the biggest jingles which I got to
Wow.
sing. And it also exposed me, it also gave me a chance to sing that jingle in different languages.
Okay.
And
Oh.
I did the Hindi version, and
Ah.
then it was supposed to be recorded in Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, Marathi, Bengali, and these
Okay.
languages. And being a South Indian, I was always familiar with the South Indian languages, and having grown in Mumbai, you're sort of
Right.
well versed with other languages as well. So I
Right.
took the plunge. They actually asked me, "Do you sing in different languages?" I just said
Hmm.
yes,
Okay.
uh, and I took that shot, and that turned out really well.
Right.
So there are these key moments where things happened at that time,
Mm-hmm.
which sort of uh, catapulted my career ahead,
Mm-hmm.
which forged it ahead.
Right.
And there were some key people
Uh-huh.
instrumental in that. So that's how my singing career sort of took shape at
Absolutely.
that
I
point.
mean, it's
Yeah.
very interesting because I mean, honestly, I didn't know of this story. I'm
Oh,
hearing
you
this from
did,
you for
right?
the first time. I never knew about this. That's great. And in fact, something just comes to my mind because we say that practice or riyaz is something which is a must for every singer, and as a classical
Hmm.
artist, that's always a given. And I'm sure
Very
you
true.
didn't. There must be a particular method even when you're aiming to work as a playback, or you're working in the film industry, you're working for
Hmm. Hmm.
jingles, right?
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, with the kind of versatility that's required for singing for ads, singing for movies, it's you can't just be a one
True.
voice person, right? So, what is it like? What
Right.
was, I mean, is there a specific practice or a riyaz that you do?
Interesting that you asked this question because not being a trained singer,
Mm-hmm.
I learned very quickly that I needed to up my game really fast
Uh-huh.
because I I somehow landed up singing a few jingles,
Okay.
but I was very critical of myself as well. I used to critique my work, and I sort of understood where all I need to improve.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually sort of devised. So Riyaz had to happen, and had to happen in a big way and really fast. So I remember at that time. So since I was exposed to Carnatic music through my life,
Mm-hmm.
so I
Right.
knew the basic Carnatic Riyaz that one does. You have
Right.
the Jandavarsha, Sarali Jandavarsha, Dhatuvarsha, and
Correct.
all those things.
Right.
So I used to do that, but having sung those jingles, I understood there were a few things that I need to add to my repertoire. So
Mm-hmm.
one was to be able to sing in a husky voice,
Okay.
and the other one was to be able to uh, be dynamic in your rendition.
Mm-hmm.
So these are a couple of things which I don't know in classical music. I don't know if they are touched upon too much
Uh-huh.
by teachers, but it's a big requirement when you sing for ads or films to have that side to you.
Okay.
So what I would do is I would do the same Janta Varsha, Dhatu Varsha practice,
Okay.
but I would do it in a husky voice, or I
Oh,
would do like
okay.
so. For example, if you say sa ma ga ma ri ga sa ri sa ga ri ga sa ri ga ma, so that I would do sa ma ga ma ri ga sa ri sa ga ri ga sa ri ga ma. So
Wow.
I would I would try to do almost that cello like
Right.
and then practice that in a husky voice and do
Okay.
those kind of
Wow.
things. So just
Wonderful.
to, I mean, at the end of your voice, it's just a muscle, right? So it needs
Correct.
to be used to moving in certain ways.
Right.
So
Right.
these were a few things I included in my riyaz, and I was very And at that time, you're not, you're hardly busy. You're literally waiting for that recording. Kab aayega?
Right.
You'll probably do one in a month. You'll probably do two in a month. If you do three, you're
Right.
ecstatic. It's like that. So, the only thing that's in your hands is to improve your skills. So
Absolutely.
at that phase, I think the Riyaz was something I would never miss. So come
Okay.
what may, whether it was in the morning or the afternoon, evening, I would never miss it a single day also.
Right. Right. Right.
So
That's
I
something. I mean, I think it's really something big because a lot of singers probably wouldn't really know that there is a practice method. And I mean, for those who probably don't have a classical base, is there
hmm,
something for them? What can they do? How can they keep their voices alive and kicking all the time?
interesting. So I don't believe I'm anyone who can give advice on this, being untrained myself. But I think these
I don't know
tips
how you
help.
say untrained because I really don't think you're untrained at all. You've got enough listening training that's there. So, uh,
Listening training, yes. I mean, you can't discount that for sure. Uh, but uh, but I think these additional things that I devised at that time just for myself, just
yeah.
to uh, because in an ad, it would
Hmm.
be like this. You'd go to sing an ad. It would be some quirky kind of a thing. So
Hmm.
you'll have to sing in a different voice, and
Right.
then you would have to do like a breezy harmony stack of vocals,
Hmm.
and then end with an alap.
Hmm.
So it'll be so you had to be so versatile to be
Absolutely.
able to pull off something uh, so casually
Yeah.
without and you should be able to switch between one and the other
Correct.
comfortably.
Correct.
So I think at that point, this kind of riyaz really helped me to be
Okay.
able to modulate my voice and do those kind of things. Sometimes they'll need you to do an operatic kind of a rendition. So
Hmm.
all this really, I mean, requires you to be versatile. So it's important not to also get stuck thinking that this is my zone. इसको
Hmm.
छोड़ के मैं और कुछ नहीं करूंगा. That
Right.
is
Right. Right.
that is a little dangerous, especially if you don't have something about you which is extremely unique.
Hmm.
Then it's better you explore other things and acquire skills that make you versatile. In fact, I remember there was a time when a very leading composer
Hmm.
agreed to meet me, and I went and played my demo.
Okay.
And he heard it. He's very sweet. He heard it and he said, Rajiv, you're sounding great. It's a nice choice of song also that you put in your showreel. But
Hmm.
I'm not finding anything different about your voice. I mean,
Hmm.
if, like, I'm just thinking if there was a song which came to us, probably me or my partner would sing it.
Hmm.
Like, what is it that I would call you for? What is unique
Hmm.
about you?
Hmm.
I had no answer. I had absolutely no answer.
Hmm.
I left the studio thinking to myself, he's probably right.
Hmm.
Like, like we all know, say a Kailash Kher has a different voice,
Correct.
and there is a song which he will sound brilliant on. And so
Absolutely.
there are singers like that who are
Correct.
really, you can tell that this song is made
Yeah.
for that singer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that actually made me think a little bit. And uh, it's very easy also to get demoralized when
Hmm.
things like that happen. There have been a few recordings where I think two or three occasions when I have gone to sing something
Hmm.
and they've said, Rajiv, sorry, man, your voice is not working. Uh,
Oh.
so we'll
Okay.
have to, you know,
Yeah.
that's it.
The
I mean,
best way to tell you that it's done. That's it.
you may leave. So, but the thing is, those things teach you a lot because you have
Yeah.
to uh, you have to understand what went wrong. Why
Hmm.
was I not able to pull it off?
Hmm.
And that's when you sort of understand that these are the skills you need to add to your repertoire to be able to execute these things comfortably.
Hmm.
There was also a point at that time when I think like Salim Suleiman and Clinton. They were doing a lot of Clinton Cerejo, I think
Right.
everyone's aware of. They were doing a lot of backing vocal arrangement. So I
Uh-huh.
got to, so I was very lucky in that at that stage to be part of these ensembles who are singing backing vocals for. There was a
Mhm.
lot of learning which happened at that time. I mean, how
Mm.
harmonic structure works. Because uh, from a classical background, you're never taught harmonies, or
Correct.
you never understand how to come up with harmonies for a song.
Right. Right.
So, so that was a great learning experience working with Salim
Right.
Suleiman and Clinton at that time,
Correct.
and just understanding how they come up with these things. And
Right. Right.
so there were so many aspects. I mean, there was so I mean, I have to say that it was just being present in that was was all I needed
Right.
just to
Right. Right.
grow
And
as a musician at that stage.
I think, as you said, growing as a musician. So, I mean, it's
Hmm.
very clearly, that at that point probably would have been the food for your composing journey to start. Probably, I feel. I don't know. I'm just guessing here. Uh, the kind
Yes,
of people you started working with, and
right.
so how did that begin? How did that begin? I mean, uh, is that a
Hmm.
switch also that's there for most singers? I mean, that's another thing which also comes to my mind, that many singers
Hmm.
are, all the time surrounded with tunes,
Right.
and that's also the beginning of such creativity. Is that a route, a go-to route for everyone? What else? I mean, how does a composer begin his journey?
Hmm. It's a deep question.
Very deep. I think I probably we need a longer session for that.
No, I mean, I can tell you uh, how I sort of stumbled upon it.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, the, so so the good thing was, thanks to doing sound engineering, I had a I had got myself a recording setup and a
Hmm.
basic means to record to playing,
Hmm.
uh, and so that was a great starting point. So there was no uh, so all the time when you're just exploring um all the skills that you're trying to build at that stage. So in doing that, inadvertently you end up composing some tune that you think really sounds amazing, and
Right.
and so if at that time I just remember that I would play four chords
Hmm.
and just loop it
Right.
and just keep singing over it.
Right.
Just, I mean, those four chords, so there are a zillion combination of notes you can sing over those four chords.
Hmm.
So I would just keep jamming over those four chords,
Mm.
and somewhere there would probably be a moment where a
Mm.
combination of tune of notes just sounded good.
Mm.
So immediately I would record it on my phone.
Okay.
Like,
Mm.
this sounds like an interesting tune.
Right.
So just like that, my voice memos are, you can keep scrolling endlessly. So there are these
Right.
unfinished ideas which are just lying
Some
there.
someone with a sound engineering background who recorded on their phone, so that's good to hear. So that to those time phones. So
Right, 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 right. So, uh, so it was just something that I stumbled upon, and I think there was a point where I said, enough of these
mm,
small snippets of tunes.
mm,
Let me let me make a full song. Let me try and make a full song. Now
mm,
I have enough I have enough ideas in my head to write a part A, part B, like a chorus, and then come to an antara, and
mhm.
then finish off a song. So let me at
Okay.
least give it a shot.
Ah,
And I, having done all these backing vocal sessions,
right.
I felt I could come up with some harmonies and here and there, and हो जाएगा, एक गाना तो बना ही सकता हूँ. So
Correct.
that was the aim, like make one
Right.
song,
Yeah.
you know. So So in 2013, I actually made that song. The song was called Barse, which was
Okay.
my first single, and I felt that's it. I've made my music, and I'm done. Like I don't think I can even think of making another song because I've exhausted everything with this song. Yeah. So
And I guess you would have been the singer as well for that.
I was the singer. Yeah. So that one thing I ensured that मैं मैं गाना बनाऊंगा तो एटलीस्ट वो तो मैं ही गाऊं. So
Malay.
at yeah. So
Right.
so Barse was a another milestone for me in 2013
Mm.
when I released that song, and since then I've not looked back. I mean the high that it gives in coming up with a tune that you like
Right.
is I just can't explain it. Like
Right. Right.
there are times when I mean, whether others like it or not, it's a whole different ballgame. But I make a tune and I'm done for the night. I wake up the next morning, and when I play it, sometimes inadvertently you have tears in eyes. That song has
Mm.
moved you. So then you feel
Mm.
like, you know what, I need to finish this song. I need to make
Mm.
this a full length song.
Right.
So and in fact at that stage I must say a very dear friend of mine, Nigel Dilema, a
Mhm.
fantastic guitar player and a producer, and I worked a lot together and we interacted a lot together. So I picked up a lot of ideas from him on how to produce music.
Okay.
There was a lot of exchange there, our ideas and everything, and all that you can see now in the newer music that I'm releasing. So
Okay.
I think the lockdown was a blessing in that sense, where I
Right.
pushed myself to put some of my own original material out,
Mhm.
and I released a couple of songs in that period, and yeah, I mean, and now I can't seem to get enough of making new
Right.
melodies.
But how do you
Yeah.
find time to balance between being a singer and being a composer? It's a lot of creative work, right? Being a composer, it's not just something you can just get up and finish, and need a lot of prep.
Hmm.
The mental prep itself probably must be taking a lot of time. So to get into the groove, if I may say, like.
See, firstly, I don't think I'm one of those guys who is incredibly busy that I have
Mhm.
no time to even drink water. I'm not
Mm.
one of those guys. So I have my jingle work. I do a lot of
Mm.
language work for ads. So
Mm.
that's my bread and butter, so to speak, and it's been that way for the last 15 years.
Mhm.
And composing is something I've been doing off late. Composing jingles and producing music is something that I'm still learning. I mean, as
Right.
a music producer, this lockdown, in fact, I've just been on YouTube going through so many tutorials and trying
Mm.
to implement them. In fact, I'm
Mm.
trying to, I've pushed myself to, in the forthcoming releases, produce a couple of tracks myself.
Right.
What is your question again?
I was asking about how do you strike the balance between being a singer and a
Strike a
composer?
balance. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
I
can see
think,
what creativity does to you. So it's
no, I don't, I feel like for me, there are just too many aspects of life that I enjoy so much that one is not greater than the other. So, for
Mm.
example, for me, I'm a huge fan of sports. So for
Mm.
me, playing cricket or playing badminton
Mm.
or even if it's a workout,
Mm.
it's something that I have to do. Like
Right.
if I get a good hour or two of cricket or badminton, if I get my good game of badminton in the morning, and
Right.
so that is one thing that is very important to me,
Uh-huh.
playing
Like
sports.
a trigger or
Then
something to get you going.
I don't I mean it's just one aspect. Then I'm very passionate about driving. So for me it's important to get out on long drives. I don't care if there's traffic. I mean, we all think array traffic nahi jayega, but I actually enjoy driving through traffic. So I just feel that there are so many things, even with the kids now, like I enjoy spending so much time with them. So when all
Right.
these things, when I get in the right proportion,
Hmm.
I'm also equally motivated when I sit in front of my computer to make music.
Right.
When all these things also happen.
Right. 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 It's that
So
happiness
if
quotient,
you
or however we want to define it.
I guess so. I think contentment is paramount, right? I mean,
Right.
if I'm forced to sit and compose music, I don't
Hmm.
know if I'll be able to do it. I mean,
Hmm.
I might be able to come up with something, but
Right.
whether it'll be good or not is a whole different ball game. So
Right.
I think there are so many other aspects which need to also happen in equal proportion for you to for your music also to be uh, good. Good as in
Right. Right.
like I should like it.
Right. I think this is very interesting because people, you know, providing projects, if I may put it that way, let's as crude as
Okay.
that, who probably have a project in mind, should also know this that they need to factor in the time for, someone who's working on a creativity
Huh?
to actually get into the groove of creativity, right? I mean, it's not something you
True.
just say that, yeah, just wake up, make this tune, it's all in your head, just start flowing. It's not like a
Hmm.
tap, right? It's just you don't turn it on and it just starts flowing, right? So you need
Yeah.
that thing to start rolling in. But do you actually? I mean, when you compose, now you've been
Hmm.
around composing also for a fair bit of time, and do you have a kind of a template or a flow that you usually follow? That okay, I'll do this first, and this is how I go about my composing.
Hmm. So for uh, for me, I react to melody immediately. So for me, the tune of the song is what sticks first.
Hmm.
And so, like I said, during the early years, where I would just play a few chords and just jam over those chords, singing different lines. That
Hmm.
is actually kind of my process, wherein
Hmm.
I would play the chords based on what feel I want. I would choose
Right.
those kind of chords
Hmm.
and then sing something over it and record it.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
invariably there is something which sticks. You might sing different lines over the same four chords, but there will be some idea which will be fresh and it will evoke a feeling, and
Right.
then you
Right.
build
Right.
on it. So
So
and so after I have a melodic structure, then I speak to lyricists and who
okay.
I mean who then do their thing on it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's nice because I think you just said that four chord thing which happened, for you when you started used to just, and it looks like it stayed on. So that's some things which start off for us as a very basic thing probably is what's
True.
going to take us through the whole journey, right?
Who knows? Who knows? That could just be a process for life,
Right. That just became the building block, if you can say, the first brick that goes into the wall.
isn't it? Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and
Very
I
true.
mean, it's actually quite I mean intriguing because so many singers, today in the industry who either made it. I don't know what has made it really. I mean, so it's
True.
still people say they're just following their passion, and I
Hmm.
know that you are someone who doesn't really vouch for that theory. So so it's something which I think you should probably just share your thoughts there because that's sharing. I mean, following your passion is such a cliche which has been around for too long.
Hmm, hmm,
So,
hmm. So I'm only going with my own experience, so I can only speak
mm,
for myself.
mm,
So I feel the like one person can have different passions, and passions
mm,
keep changing over time.
right.
So when people say, "अरे, you follow your passion, यार, you'll बहुत अच्छा
बन
हो
जाएगा
जाएगा
एक
तेरा,
दिन हाँ
बन जाएगा तू, you just have to follow your passion."
mm,
I think there needs to be a disclaimer there
mm,
saying, okay, you follow your passion, you give it a shot
mm,
because you're passionate about it, you give it a shot,
mm,
but you need to be practical also to self-evaluate whether following your passion is getting you your other life goals. For
Hmm.
example, if you have thought that you need to maintain a certain lifestyle,
Correct.
or you have certain wants, or
Hmm.
you need something which makes you happy,
Hmm.
and if following your passion is not giving that,
Hmm.
then you can't be adamant, is what I feel.
Right. Right.
Like
Right.
that self evaluation is important. In fact, I
Hmm.
for the life of me I can't remember reading somewhere that your passion needn't necessarily be your profession.
Hmm.
Your profession could be something that you're gifted in.
Hmm.
So if you take up a profession, uh, which is something that you're good at, like
Hmm.
it's a skill that you're already good at,
Right.
it takes you minimal effort for a great output
Hmm.
because you're gifted in that particular aspect.
Right. Right. Right.
So
Wow.
so when you do that, so maybe you're gifted at whatever, it could be carpentry, it could be anything, but
Correct.
or architect, or you love interior design, or it could be
Hmm.
music also. But
Right.
if there is something about it that you're inherently good at, you like from birth, you're just always been good at it, art or whatever
Hmm.
it is,
Right.
if you take that up as a profession, the chances are that you will succeed in it with slightly lesser effort than something which you're passionate about. Like, for
Hmm.
example, if I were to think of something that I'm truly passionate about, it is cricket,
Hmm.
right? Now, if I were to think, nahi, main cricketer hi banunga, like
Hmm.
that is the be all and end all,
Yeah.
I probably may have got nowhere with that.
Right.
So, so music was something I grew up with, and I had a certain uh, knack or a grasping power to it. So maybe that helped me in my
Hmm.
profession,
Hmm.
and that is helping me follow my passion, playing cricket as a
Right.
hobby. What's
Correct.
what's bad about it? You're still getting to do those
Absolutely.
things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
this whole passion thing is a delicate subject when it comes to me,
It's
because
somebody who's written it in some phrases and kept that's it. So. But I think
yeah.
it's
So
I think very rightly put, I mean, it all comes down to staying relevant, right? I mean, you might be
hmm,
someone who's a veteran in the industry, who's been around in any field. I won't say just the industry when I keep referring to, I'm not talking about just the
hmm,
music industry or, but it could be sports as well. I mean, you're talking about cricket today. I mean, we see how cricketers become redundant after some time because they just probably just took some things for granted. I won't say that
right.
really take it for granted, but it happens, right? After some time, you're just used to the space. And how do you stay relevant? I mean, this is something very, it keeps grappling with me because it's not a corporate kind of a scenario where you know what's the next
Hmm,
designation to jump for. You don't have anything in a
hmm.
line. You just keep doing the same thing. Yeah.
It's interesting. I feel uh, you need to find that one thing that maybe you have a real talent towards,
Hmm.
and maybe it's a niche, maybe there are many people doing it, but if you also do it really well,
Hmm.
then you need to uh, really make that your thing. Like you need to be
Right.
known for that.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
I feel in my case, uh, I in 2007 when I did those languages for Ram Sampath for that ad that I
Hmm.
spoke about earlier,
Right. Right.
I think there was something about singing in different languages which came to me naturally,
Huh.
and it was something that I enjoyed doing. In fact, you won't believe, uh, Mridangam actually helped me a lot in singing in different languages.
Okay.
It's I'll tell you how, because when a line is given in Hindi and
Hmm.
the same line is written in Malayalam, the
Yeah.
number of syllables are at least double.
Correct.
So
Correct.
you need to be able to fit those words in the
Yes.
meter and still make
Rhythm
it
ke bada.
sound, yeah. So knowing how many matras to start that line earlier and where to end it so that the next line flows in smoothly.
Very
Actually,
true.
so literally I'm putting talam and starting that line earlier.
True.
So
True. True.
so you never know what skill you have acquired is going to help you in what way later,
Hmm.
isn't it?
And I think it's also interesting you mentioned that, you used to also keep looking at YouTube videos even now for understanding,
Yeah.
how, yeah, I mean, you in the composing journey and, how you can actually keep, improving on that aspect as well. Being someone who's been doing this for almost 2 decades, so I
Hmm.
would say that that's something, and I mean, probably it's a good takeaway for people as well, that bit of learning. It's not about just saying that your learning never stops. You need to know what to learn as well. You need to know what to
Right.
keep doing, right? I mean, just can't keep doing the same thing again and think that you're going to be important or
Hmm.
relevant or really needed anymore, right? But
If
I
you can
mean,
find that niche, yeah, go on. Sorry.
no, 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 no. Go on, go on, go on.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you can find that some niche that you can juice,
Huh.
nothing like it. You may not always find it, but if you find it, then juice it.
So how did this niche move into this cocoon that you're sitting in right now, the home studio? From I just from singer to composer to, okay, fine, I need my own space now. So how did that happen?
The studio has been a blessing during the lockdown because I've been able to do all my work sitting here. So, but I'll tell you, I mean, this. You want me to show it? Show you
Yeah,
around?
yeah, yeah. I think that'll be great.
1 second. So this is my setup. So
Wow.
it's a really small room. It's a literally a 5 by 6 feet room. So literally for one person to sit there, and
Right.
I have a small couch behind where, like a bench, in fact. Like that's the
Yeah.
bench.
Yeah. I think it's
So,
something
but
which
it's
is
perfect for my kind of work where
right.
I'm composing and I have my mic set up here. So my headphones and my everything. I won't show you the bottom because it's a little messy.
I think you should. That's what shows that you're a true composer.
Really?
There have to be wires around, right? So,
I'll pass. I'll show you something which looks like it's a real composer studio. This guitar.
Sure. Wow, wonderful, wonderful. But so, in fact, how do you? I mean, this just said lockdown, and because I've been seeing this through Surround that so
Hmm.
many people, I'm sorry, my camera is a little shaky. Sorry, just trying to get my earpods charged. Okay, so
Okay.
we need to keep these charged, right? Apple doesn't give us that much for these sessions. Yeah, so I'm saying, I mean, in this lockdown, especially through Surround, we got a lot of projects that we were talking with. I mean, I would say whoever was giving us those projects, where we would probably it would be a studio or a corporate
Hmm.
also, where home recordings. This today
Hmm.
everything is like stay safe, stay distant. It's
Right.
taken over so heavily and slowly. I mean, it started off in the lockdown where people did those typical mobile phone recordings, and that was also okay, and everyone was like, fine,
Right.
at least something's happening. But today they've
Right.
slowly moved to a little more professional environment.
Very
Um,
true.
and how do you see? I mean, because this is something which many people might be looking to set up their
Hmm.
own home studio.
Right.
Anything, I mean, you can suppose it's like me who wants to set it up. What are the basic things I need to know apart from, of course, knowing what to do with it once it's made?
Yeah. I think uh, now it's extremely simple to get yourself a basic recording setup. So I mean, considering I would assume everyone has a laptop or a computer
Hmm.
where they can record their music into. You, in fact, a few years back, I would say a sound card is also a very important piece of equipment for decent recordings. But even now, like just to do a decently good recording, you can even do it through these really good USB mics which are available. So
Uh-huh.
be it your Audio Technica or your Apogee, a
Okay.
lot of these companies, Samsung, a lot of these companies make really professionally good sounding USB mics. So
Okay.
you directly connect the mic into your laptop,
Hmm.
and the laptop recognizes it as a recording device. So that's how podcasts, people who make podcasts, their setups are like that. So they
Right.
have a USB mic, directly connect it to your laptop, use the internal sound card of your computer, and do your recording.
Okay, so
So
no external sound card as a hardware to be put in there.
yeah, I mean, this is just as as something to kickstart your recording journey.
Right.
So if you get a professional sound card and you get uh, a mic which is an XLR to XLR connection to your sound card, I mean, there is a significant difference in the quality of recording, and then you're going into the really professional space where you're using the right equipment for a good recording. But
Okay.
having said that, it's amazing what quality you can achieve just by a decent USB mic these days.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
and
I
I'd also
mean,
recommend this vocal shield. This has
yeah.
actually helped a lot because in untreated rooms, like so,
I
this
think,
shield
yeah. Okay.
actually has made a very big difference in the quality of recording that I do even in this room itself.
Okay.
It's not a heavily padded room or a very minutely treated room. It's just got the basic your foam pads, but
Right.
just for your immediate for avoiding your uh, early reflections of
Right.
your vocal take, this thing works really well. So just
Sure.
adding one thing like this also improves your recording quality to a great deal.
So you actually acoustically treated this room as well, right? I mean, to a
Yeah,
basic
sort of.
extent.
I mean, I've got these foam pads which are on
Hmm.
the ceiling and at the back.
Right.
I don't have anything else in the front. Also, because it's an extremely small room, I
Uh-huh.
couldn't get the traditional uh, double wall with rock wool in between, and I couldn't. I mean, because that would just eat into even more space, which was not something I could afford at that point. Because I
Okay.
mean, it's already just a bare. It's a really tiny room,
Great.
so
Great.
I couldn't eat into too much wall
But I
space.
think 5 by 6. I think that's fantastic. I mean, that's something
Five by
which is
six,
like,
literally.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's I don't know. People say that you need a. People talk about Mumbai houses and all those things, and this is the possibility they don't talk
I
about.
can travel. I can
So
travel around this room in just my swivel chair.
right, right. But you still have a space, a couch. So there are people who can actually come and
Yeah,
sit at the recording place. So that's
it's a
great.
nice, decent, cozy looking space.
So I think I mean
Yeah.
for anyone who's listening into this who would like to know more about how to go about their home setups, uh, I'll take the liberty here to say you can probably feel free to reach out to Rajiv. Uh,
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
and
whatever
maybe you
limited
can
knowledge I have,
yeah. No, I'm sure people have already judged how much is the limit. So it's fantastic because from the creativity which doesn't really stop with what you can do next, and it's like, yeah, I need to get my work done. So like that's so clearly seen, and it's great. I think the way we've seen your journey go by. Uh, I, I think Rajiv, if there is a newbie, I mean, somebody who's looking to just get in, um, something very quick, like if you'd like people put these lines of follow your passion, So,
right.
what's one line if you have to just tell somebody it's an elevator, you're in an elevator pitch now. So, what's that one line which you can probably give away to someone who just set foot into this?
Into the industry.
Yeah, yeah. So very interesting comments coming down.
Mm. Yeah, I can see Casey Loy. Loy is someone really dear to me, and he's written
Absolutely.
a lot of my songs, and is such a dear friend, uh,
Absolutely.
and he's
And a
and
wonderful
I can
artist
see
as
what
well.
and of course. So what would I tell? Okay, what do you want me to tell him? Him or her?
I don't know.
I'll put it. I'll put it on you.
You might just say follow your passion and then say come back to me if it doesn't work.
That's
I don't
hilarious.
know.
No, I,
I,
I
I,
think I would say, if music is what you want to do,
hmm,
go for it, give it a shot, absorb whatever you can. There's nothing big or small about assisting somebody or I think you can absorb the most when you're assisting someone
right.
because positive or negative, because
Mm.
you will also know what not to do. If someone
Mm.
you're assisting is not being kind to you,
Right.
you will know what not to do when you
Mm.
also get there.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
so you go for it, but also be practical about. I think that self-evaluation is very important.
Mm.
You need to be very critical about how good you are.
Mm.
I feel. I feel you need to know somewhere that uh, maybe it's actually I don't know, man, because it's so subjective. It's so subjective, and it's very difficult to say. But I think I would say be practical about your chances. Give it a wholehearted shot. If it doesn't work out, it's okay. Like, it's okay. I mean, don't.
Mm.
I always feel like I till date I don't take myself seriously at all. Even if
Mm.
someone says, "Oh, awesome job," okay, good. But there are no very high highs. There are no very low
Mm.
lows. I
Okay.
don't uh, because I feel like you can't take yourself too seriously. When you start doing that, then there is a certain level of which creeps in, and that leads to certain other
Right.
issues in this business. I'm sure it's in all fields, but
Mm.
I would say especially in this business, it's
Mm.
very important for you to be someone who is approachable, who is a joy to work with.
Right.
You might not be the best singer, but
Mm.
if your energy is great,
Mm.
if Arey Rajiv ko bula, we'll have a blast at the studio.
Mm. Mm.
There will be better singers than me
Correct.
who are far more skillful, who are far
Mm.
better. But I think these things also matter.
Mm.
Uh, where you're just a nice person to work with.
Right. Right. Staying true to
I think
yourself,
I've
kind of a
done.
thing.
I think I've just said anything and all. I don't even
Mm.
know what your question was.
It is for the newbies, but I think this is very relevant for everyone. I think it's like it's probably you start your journey, you're very true to yourself, and just be grounded and keep going
That's
with the flow,
important.
right?
Yeah.
So Rajiv, what can we expect from your stable now? Any new productions coming out which we can get a little bit of a sneak peek into?
Sneak peek, I don't know, but I'm really excited. I think this is the first time I'm even telling people that hopefully within a month or two. So let me give me a little
Okay.
myself a little more buffer. Uh, I plan to put out a series of songs as an EP,
Okay.
and in fact, Loy has written some beautiful songs I that I'm waiting to share with all of you, and hopefully that should be out soon. So let me take this opportunity. All the 20 people who are watching now, look out for that EP and make sure you follow me on Spotify and listen to that song again and again and share it with everyone.
You just did the
Because I'm
share,
so bad.
comment, share,
I'm
like,
extreme. I'll tell you
subscribe.
what, I'm so bad at this self-marketing that this is the most I can do.
So Rajiv, I mean, before we probably leave the session, why don't you treat us to some of your singing?
My singing.
Yeah, of course. You don't want me to do
Well,
it.
okay. You want to whistle?
No way.
I know you can
Not on
sing
this
too.
session.
Okay, I have a minus one of a single that I had released recently. It's called Zindagi Meri. It's a it's a very cute little song about everyone has uh, a person or a pet or somebody that you know makes their life happy.
Mm.
So so this was Zindagi Meri. If so, I'll just hum a few lines from that.
Sure.
Can you hear the music?
Yeah, it's audible.
दिखे लगे जिंदगी खिलखिलाने तू मिले लगे जिंदगी गुनगुनाने ये दिल मेरा मुझसे कह रहा मेरी रातों में मेरे दिन में तू ही बसा जिंदगी मेरी तुमसे ही है तुम हो तो सब है सही हो जिंदगी मेरी तुमसे ही है तुम हो तो सब है सही Yeah.
Wow, superb. Oh, that was like something else. I think
What do
you
you
should
think?
have done more of that.
Something else good?
I'm sure you know that. It was awesome, Rajiv. Superb.
I've been
And
meaning to ask you actually. So using your platform,
yeah,
if there was a situation where I had to say uh, get an instrumental player who plays a specific instrument from some
right,
part of the world, is
right,
that one of the reasons one would like come to Srround uh, to help them with? Like, is that
right. Yes, absolutely. I think that is probably the kind of work we've been doing as well. Um, in fact, as I said in the start, it's when we say the words collaboration, connect, and these things, we want to show people what it is. It's not just English words, It's not about just showing something and you go, there's a portal, go search and find it for yourself. It's not that
true?
way, That doesn't work that way. So the whole idea somebody is approaching Surround is because they probably don't have the time to do it. It's not that they can't find it themselves.
Right,
They don't have the time or they don't have probably the reach or the right person, as you said. Maybe as you
true.
say that I'm looking for if you say I'm looking for a Sarinda player or someone, we don't know. We don't really meet these people every day probably, but there might be
Right,
some fabulous ones, who are there around us. And that's where with the connections that we are building, because
right.
that's our job, that's our work on a daily basis. So that's the kind of uh, you know reach that we are able to bring to the industry, and we're definitely. I mean, if you've got something there, that's where Surround steps in.
That's fantastic. Looking forward to interacting in that regard with you then.
Sure, definitely. In
I
fact,
can see
that's
Benny is saying hi. Benny Dayal.
hi,
Hmm.
wonderful. Then this is it's very nice, Rajiv. I mean, we've uh, been grappling with this idea of doing some live sessions, and I was quite thinking that it's so cluttered out there. Everyone's probably online doing some live sessions of some sort,
Yeah, true,
and what can
true.
we do? I mean, which is going to be it's going to be different. It's like what's the difference also you can bring? I said, I mean, this is probably great the way you probably shared your journey and shared the way you've shaped your career,
Hmm.
and it's I would probably say it's still so much to go, and it
Yeah,
probably is like a reflection for most people hearing this, and that I mean this is something I relate to. This is really wonderful, and
I hope so. I mean,
so I think to all our viewers, I mean we've had a decent floating viewership here, so thank you for all of those who were with us through this session and kept joining in, and for also all those who will probably view this session post this live airing as well. Uh, we're really honored that Rajiv could, come for this session and give us every insight that he could share in this time frame. Um, and I think I'll just take this quick opportunity for a lot of people who would like to associate with Surround as well. Being a platform that's curated specifically for the sound and music industry, performers, musicians, sound engineers, make sure that you head to surround.com You just click on our page, you're watching this session, and you've got all the details there as how to sign up. It's a very simple process. And what happens is you get onto our roster. We're able to reach out to you, and we're able to reach you with projects that are relevant to what you're skilled at and what you're interested at. So I'm hoping to, see many more such expertise being shared through these live sessions. So Rajiv, thanks a lot once again for kicking this off for us.
It was
And
entirely my pleasure, and you made it so easy. I mean, I've known you for donkey's years now, but it was just like any phone call, video chat that I had with you. It was beautiful.
it's
Thanks a lot.
wonderful, and
Really enjoyed
thanks
it.
Rajiv. And I'm sure I'm going to be bothering you more, and Srround's not going to, allow you to just leave with one session with us. So definitely we're going to pick your brains on some other topics very soon. But for all those who are listening in, we'll be, hoping to have many such interesting sessions. Do let us know what you thought about these sessions. The comments are always there to leave your thoughts, and anything you would like to, ask Rajiv. You can either DM him directly or DM us at Srround, and we'll be glad to see what we can do and how best we can answer that. So great.
Thank,
Uh,
thanks a
Thanks,
lot.
Rajiv. Thanks, Rajiv. I think we'll
Thank
sign
you.
off at this. Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining
All
in.
right. Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
Aditya.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, Rajiv. Bye bye.
See you. Bye.